Hi, welcome to our very first episode of the Diesel Diaries. I'm your host, Lori McNaughton. I'm the director of ATS Specialized. I've been in the trucking industry for 23 years. Today, I have our first guest with us, Ryan Templin, driver manager.
Yep, for 3 years I've been with ATS now.
Awesome. And you're also in the Specialized group, right?
Correct.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today. We're just going to talk about all things trucking, truckers, what they face on the road every day, and try to have fun doing it.
It'll be a good time.
All right. So first up, let's talk about equipment theft. I know we've seen a rise in some stolen equipment, and you have some experience with that.
I do, 2 of them actually, and turns out they ended up being the same driver.
Oh, no. So tell me what happened.
Back in the summer, in June, I have a guy that lives in Philadelphia. Can be a very, it's compact, hard place to park. He has been parking, he said, in the same spot for years every time that he goes home. And he went home for about a week and a half, and he was ready to go, come back out of the house. And turns out when he got there, our trailer was not there anymore. Turns out he was parking at a different business on a side street where there was clearly no parking signs everywhere. Last I know, we did not find that trailer.
Never recovered it?
It is still missing. He checked with local authorities, the business there, checked everything, and it has not turned up.
So what happens? He realizes the trailer's gone and calls local authorities. They have no idea, no reports linked to it. I'm assuming he called you right away to tell you what was going on.
Yes, he did. And he said that he was, reaching out to authorities, all the tow companies in the area to see if it was impounded, if the police had seized it and put it somewhere. And last I know, even to this day, is that we still have not located that trailer.
Okay. And this happened a second time? Same driver?
It did, about 6 months after that.
No.
This time he was loaded.
Oh, no.
First time he was empty. Yeah.
I shouldn't be laughing. This isn't funny. This is horrible.
No, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny.
Same driver, mind you. Got loaded, went to the house again, Philadelphia. He parked his truck and our loaded trailer in the same exact spot that our trailer had gone missing the first time.
Okay.
Same spot, outside of a business, streets marked, no parking. His excuse was, there's an RV park there. There's other, trucks parked there. And I just kind of explained, I was like, probably after the first time, we should have found another place to park.
So I have to ask, he sees an RV park there. He doesn't think like maybe I should go talk to this business and see if they're okay with it or anything like that. I'm going to take the chance and I've got a full trailer.
Parked there along with his truck, and 3 days later, again, calls me, my truck and trailer are gone.
The truck too this time.
Yep.
So this time at least he stayed hooked. Was he hooked up the last time?
No, he just dropped the trailer there and put down the landing gear, put a kingpin lock on it, and went home.
So tell me this time it was at least he found it at a wrecker yard or something.
The police impounded both truck and trailer.
Man, that's brutal.
Was not fun to deal with, to say the least, especially after the first time. I figured, he would have, learned from his mistakes, and, trailers, the stuff's expensive.
For sure.
It being commodity on the trailer is one thing, but, as a lease guy, that is ATS's truck and trailer, and to, make that mistake again, called for some extra stuff. We had routed him up here to, talk in person and explain the severity of the situation and why it's important that we don't make those mistakes again.
Yeah. I don't want to put any customer names out there necessarily, but can you tell me what kind of commodity was on that trailer?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Don't recall? Okay, that's fine. I was just kind of thinking in terms of dollar amount. I mean, we got to be $100,000, $200,000 easily. Yeah. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, he's a class 3 guy, so it's, at least that 100,000 mark.
Yeah.
But
So really one of them, we don't know where it is. So truly is stolen and the other one impounded. It seems that theft in general has been on the rise, and it's not just the equipment, but cargo as well. And I know, some of those border states are more of a hot spot for
Yeah,
that.
I think all your main crime hubs are. You think Illinois, you think of Chicago, obviously Texas, just the population, Florida. I would think it'd probably more prevalent in van and reefer, food and water, all that stuff. Just a lot of people steal out of necessity or opportunity.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Things aren't cheap right now, right?
No.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you're buying. If it's a bag of groceries, you go to the local grocery store, you're dropping $100 and you have 2 grocery bags.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, a lot has changed in the last 6 to 9 months in that regard, and the economy is always changing. Inflation, so it definitely gets tough on a lot of people, even people with full-time jobs. If you're raising kids or whatever,
Yeah.
it's do it out of necessity because they have to, because they can't afford
Yeah,
anything.
definitely. All right. How about like tips or advice you would give to any drivers that are out there listening? I'm sure they have plenty to give us. They could probably educate us better than we can educate them. But what kind of tips or advice would you give?
I would say, and it comes back to a lot of things, trip planning, knowing what your hours are, where you're going to be stopping, not going over your hours and having to park in, an abandoned lot somewhere of an old church where there's no eyes on you. If you're sleeping, there's a lot of stuff that can happen, while you're sleeping. So trip planning, well-lit areas, big truck stops, and, where there's cameras, there's people around. It's going to lessen the opportunity that people have to steal equipment or commodities or what have you.
For sure. Solid advice. I think too, just keeping hooked to your trailer, right? I mean, there are kingpin locks and things of that nature. Those can be clipped too, right? People, if they're stealing your trailers, there's intent there. They're looking for the right opportunity to drive away with something on that large of a scale. So
I would think of
got
it as
the
like
tools.
somebody, stealing a car. They'll take it to a chop shop. They'll part it out, like scratch off VIN numbers, serial numbers, and any way to make a buck.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
think about the equipment that these guys get when they start. You're over $2,000. Your tarps, your chains, your straps, all that stuff.
Easy.
You guys leave that sitting on your trailer, and you're not careful. It goes missing. Somebody's gonna buy it used and get it, make $600, if not more.
Yeah.
And money goes in your pocket. There's a driver without any equipment.
That goes back to your point and, ending up in a dark lot, even if you're in a well-lit one, picking the right spot in the lot. Headache racks, I know a lot of guys lock those up too, but man, if they're in the bunk and they have an APU running, or some guys have generators on their trucks, if that's running, they're not hearing somebody with a bolt cutter and getting in there, taking their stuff. I mean, the only chance really is some movement on the truck that stirs them or something. So
It probably comes back to just like anything, like, well, there's how many people out there, how many drivers? Well, it's not going to happen to me. And
right.
everybody thinks that until it does. And then it's too late.
Yep, for sure. These guys, it's crazy to think about all the things they have to worry about. It's hard enough being out for days, weeks at a time. There's some guys I know just within the specialized group, and I can't speak for vans and heavy haul, although I know, probably heavy haul, if not more than the flat group, but I'm sure a lot of the van guys too, at least a couple weeks staying out away from home. You got to worry about what you can take with you on each trip and protecting that with little to no resources. It's just trip planning and picking the lesser of the evils.
I got several drivers. He's out 3-4 months at a time. He'll go home for a weekend. He's back out. He wants to make money. So, and he's, married, a kid back home, older and grown up, not the house, but several guys, they don't, once a season. They're home, 4 times maybe during the year, and then they're out on the road.
What would you, I guess, ask a driver to do if they, and this is an easy one, I guess, maybe I can answer it myself, but some attention to suspicious activity and just whether it's happening to you or the truck next to you. And it doesn't matter if it's, a driver here at ATS or a driver with another carrier, but kind of just being on the lookout for some of that activity and reporting it, calling a local non-emergency line and letting them know what you see, right? I mean, worst case, somebody's going to come out, check it out, and it happens to be fine.
Yeah, you think, just like our building, it's someone without a badge or something looks suspicious, it's not going to hurt to bring it up if something doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
I tend to trust my intuition all the time. And,
For sure.
Generally, I think that's going to lead you in the right direction.
Yeah.
So
it's hard enough out there too. So helping each other where you can. I mean, look out for each other. I guess that's my advice.
Yeah.
All right. So, the hope is we'll move this into more of a segmented show. We'll start off each episode with kind of, some current events, what's happening in the industry today. And then moving along to what I like to call Highway Chronicles. And it's more of the true stories, things happening out on the road. Today we talked a little bit about theft, but even getting into things like true crime as it relates to the industry and things they see and things that they're involved with while they're out there. It's a crazy world. And then kind of end it with some takeaways. And last but not least, it's truck talk. So this is where we want to throw out like different, I'm going to call it a poll. We'll send polls out, whether it be online or, maybe I'm reaching out to some driver managers in the building and asking them to get with their fleets and see what their thoughts are. But this first one, we put a line out there and asked about best albums, start to finish, to listen to on a road trip. So while
I feel like that this could go for hours if we wanted it to.
Absolutely. I have a very eclectic taste of music, so it's hard for me to pick just one. But if you had a favorite album, start to finish, that you like to listen to on road trips, what would it be?
Right now, anything Morgan Wallen is what I'm listening to right now. Big fan of his. I didn't get into country until, a couple years ago. Mainly because it's not like country anymore. Yeah. Definitely that. Some hip hop. I like A$AP Rocky, Kendrick Lamar. Real. Can never go wrong with some Justin Bieber.
You got the fever.
Every once in a while. Last week I did.
Did you? I remember actually it was years ago already. I think I might have been an ops manager. And we used to do like this Friday thing. I always have music playing, as you know.
I remember I'd come into your office and request what song for us to play.
Yes. So on Fridays, I'd crank it up and everybody kind of get to play what they wanted. And maybe it was you that brought the Bieber out. But I recall there being a Friday where the office was.
It depends on my mood. Sometimes you want to be silly and funny. And so it's, whatever.
Thanks for clarifying. So Justin Bieber is when you want to be silly.
Yeah.
And funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a true passion for his music.
It's not.
Yeah.
Deep down, they probably like some of his songs and will sing along to it. And
yeah. I don't know, like truly, honest to God, I don't know that I know any one Justin Bieber song start to finish. And I'm not even sure that I could name a song. Like, if I heard Justin Bieber, I could totally tell you that's Bieber, right? And I probably know the song, but I don't know titles. I'm really bad at that, actually.
So I couldn't name albums just because everything I have now is on iTunes, and I just kind of throw mixes together and let the phone iPod do its thing.
I feel like that's a jab at my age. Mentioned earlier.
I have no idea how old you are.
Oh, well, how long I've been in the industry kind of helps, and now you don't recall albums. It's all iTunes. Yeah, that's sad. Makes me feel old.
Maybe
And I'm not old.
maybe it was an indirect jab.
Yeah, I appreciate
It was a
that.
friendly one.
Felt good. Okay, so I don't know that I can pick any one album. There's a lot that I like, and I will listen to anything. The only thing I shouldn't say I can't, I really got to be in the mood for it, would be like jazz or classical. I mean, I do like some, but I'd have to be in the mood for it. Otherwise, I am all over the place. Like,
Conway Twitty.
yeah, I'll listen to Conway Twitty. I do like country. I don't know that there's anything that really stands out for me. I would say like favorite genres maybe. I love some solid 80s ballads, which we'll get into here with our results from the poll. I love 90s country. I love old country, and there's some new stuff I like. When I think about new stuff, I love Aaron Lewis, country, and as lead singer in Stained. I mean, both beautiful. Man, System of a Down,
Ooh, that's a good one.
old school rap.
Oh, yeah.
And I could go like Eazy-E, E40, Tupac, and we could probably back it up a little more from there, but even some new stuff too. My kids help with that. I have a almost 17-year-old daughter, and then my youngest is 8, and both of them introduce me to new music weekly, so I get my fill.
If you have any Now CDs, you can probably find all these songs on there.
All right, so are you ready to hear some of the...
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I had to check these out before we went on air because I wasn't familiar with a couple, I'll say. One of them was The Reality of Yourself was the artist, and the song was Letter from Hermes. And I got to tell you, I was waiting for the beat to drop, and it just never came. It was like a 3-minute song that would like wipe out the last 3 miles of my trip. Have you ever, okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about poor decisions, but we won't get too deep. You know, like when you were younger and you made a lot of poor decisions and you're like, how did I get home last night? That would have been 3 miles of how did I go the last 3 miles? Like,
How do I get from mile
didn't
marker
remember
10
it.
to mile marker 15?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that it was bad. It was just I was waiting for something to happen. It just didn't come. All right. And then have you ever heard of that song?
I have not.
Okay. I'm going to have to check out some more songs, I think, because there's got to be more to it than the 3 minutes I heard. So I'm hopeful if the driver that voted for The Reality of Yourself, I apologize in advance. I'll keep looking, see if I can find one I like. All right, next one. Jason Boland.
Not sure who that
I
is.
didn't recognize that either, but it's country. And the song was High on the Rockies. Totally dig it. It was good.
I'm going to have to give it a listen.
Yeah, I was, doing a little jig. Probably not a jig. I mean, that makes me feel a little...
Old?
Yeah. Thanks for calling that out again. Remind me not to invite you next time. All right. And for me, the winner, because I got a soft spot, this truly is an 80s. I think this was probably I'm going to say mid-70s. Hold your tongue. Boston debut album. More Than a Feeling.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was the one I figured if you're going to know one, that's the one.
Growing up, my dad was blaring those cassettes and CDs.
Cassettes.
Yeah.
Your dad listened to cassettes and CDs.
Cassettes.
Okay. So you know what my parents listened to music on? Besides AM radio in the barn. In the house, we had a record player, but it was a dual record player. So you could play a record or you could play 8 tracks on it. Do you know what 8 tracks is?
No, but I know what records are.
Right on. Okay. So 8 tracks is like this. It's like this. It's like a big cassette. and it's probably like
So that's what I was
that
picturing, like a
big.
bigger, much bigger version of a.
Do you remember the original Nintendo?
Yeah.
Okay, the size of the game, it's like the same size as that. And it like is inserted into the player the same way, like one end, but it has a tape. It's not, the Nintendo games kind of had that metal.
Yeah, the little the disc or the chip or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was that. My parents, it was Steve Miller and Led Zeppelin, which was really weird because they were Catholic farmers. I just felt like those two things didn't really go
My
together.
dad, Boston, the Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles.
AC/DC.
Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yep. All of those.
Good stuff. All right. Any last minute thoughts before we sign off?
Not off the top of my head, no. Hopefully any of the drivers listen to this. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do more of this, getting your feedback and
Sharing your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. for
drive
sure.
safe.
Yeah. We appreciate you and everything you guys are doing out there. And we just really hope this is something that you can find some enjoyment in and we can talk about things that you want to talk about. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, I'm Lori McNaughton and
I'm Ryan Templin.
have a great night, guys.